Oh, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I'm here with a brand new guest on the channel, my guy Nate the Great. Some even call him. How's it going, my man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. I'm excited for the show because we've talked a lot of NBA stuff for a while now, just never on the channel. So I think it's going to be good today. The first thing that we'll talk about though is your team, Cleveland Cavaliers. They're cooking lately. They've been on 3 winning streaks of 12 or more. That's just insane. They just got their 16th win, which is their longest of all 3 of them. What do you make of this Cavs team this year? And are they really the main team right now?
Yeah, I think as of right now they're the team to beat. Streaks are just crazy, man. I just can't believe that they're this good this year. I saw flashes in them last year that they could be this good, but I just didn't think that they would take the leap. Like especially Evan Mobley and Darius Garland playing at like all NBA level right now. So it's crazy, man. It's mind blowing, but I love watching them. I think they do have a real shot at winning a championship this year. It's going to be tough getting past Boston, but
Yeah.
I think we're the team that can do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys, really, I feel like there's 3 teams above the rest that everyone's talking about. You guys, it's the Celtics and it's the Thunder. And the biggest thing, too, is that I've seen as well. With Donovan Mitchell, I feel like there's some people that just watch him and they're like, oh, well, he's having a down year. It's like if you're watching the games, though, he's letting people thrive. He's really instilled the confidence in Evan Mobley, Darius Garland. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I've never seen Darius Garland look as confident as he has this season, in his whole career. And then just from the gate, out the gate when they got Kenny Atkinson, and then Donovan Mitchell goes in and says we need Evan Mobley to be more of a focal point. We need to basically organizing certain sets and stuff like that. That shows real leadership, and I don't know. I just feel like this team it's gotten so much better throughout the course of the year. People were questioning oh, well, losing a guy like Jorgis Yang, who I've ripped on as a player, but just his impact in the locker room, you can tell the guys liked being around him. So it's if you're gonna move off him, you want to make sure you don't mess up that chemistry. They bring in a guy like DeAndre Hunter. He gets along well with Ty Jerome. Maybe that's a little pitch toward the off season where he's gonna be a free agent. Hey, we brought in a guy for you. So I don't know. I think it's all these things together. It's just great vibes for this team. A lot of their guys are on contract, and I do think right now they're the best team in the league.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was very sad that we traded Niang, but we got way better,
Mm-hmm.
so it was worth it. But yeah, him and Karras were great vibes. Both really good players. They were just a little bit inconsistent, but I think the matchup with Tatum and Niang is really what kind of forced us to trade him because
Yeah,
every time Niang guards Tatum, man, it's just bad.
yeah. He's. I don't know. He's decent. I guess as a post defender, just because he doesn't have to move as much. But just on the perimeter, that's kind of the biggest thing, especially when they're hunting Garland probably as much as they can, just because they're taller than him and it's easier that way.
Yeah,
And just the strength advantage. So it's you can't really have 2 guys like that out there on the floor at the same time. So, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But
But dude, yeah,
yeah,
DeAndre Hunter he's great. I'm so glad we traded for him.
he's been killing. He's really been the acquisition of the deadline. Still has not lost a game as a Cleveland Cavalier at the time we're recording this. So,
Yeah, yeah, man. But we're looking good right now. So is OKC though. They look great too.
yeah,
So
I
um,
that
I can't believe that they smacked us a few months ago.
yeah,
But
that was really the only game you guys have lost. I would say badly. You know.
yeah,
Um,
mhm.
but yeah, it's you guys and OKC definitely making a statement because over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, you guys both had big notable wins against the defending champion. So it's not
Mhm.
going to be easy for Boston. I think some people just think they have the experience and it's going to be a shoe-in, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I think they got lucky last year. I mean, they're still a really good team. I'm not going to disrespect them. I mean, they're the defending champs, so I'll give them my respect. But yeah, it's not going to be as easy this year.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
The
But
only other thing that makes me upset, and then if you want, we can move on. But I hate the people that are making it seem like, oh, Cavs are the fake 1 seed. They're the 2015 Hawks. It's like they're not the 2015 Hawks. I know you had some like kind of feelings about some of those posts. Like, what do you think of people that say that?
I mean, the 2015 Hawks had to go through prime LeBron James, so we don't
It's
have
true.
to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no disrespect to Jason Tatum, but he's not LeBron. So, um, yeah, it's just funny. I feel like people just always hate on teams that are good. Like, I mean, I used to hate on the Phoenix Suns when they were the 1 seed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I don't know. People are just haters, man. So,
Yeah. I think too, like the other thing is that Hawks team, like and of course, like you said, like LeBron was the best player in the league like at that time. But I don't know, I feel like they were missing Kevin Love and Kyrie was kind of half injured that series. Like I feel like this Cavs team, if they were going against that Cavs team, given like the people that were out, I feel like this Cavs team would win. Now, if you have like a healthy Kevin Love, like healthy Kyrie Irving, maybe it's a different discussion, but like given the circumstance there, like that is what I think really, made people look at the Hawks and they're like, yeah, they got swept by this team that's the second best player is Matthew Dellavedova or Timofey Mozgov every other game. Like, yeah. So.
And they're just not as good. I mean, they're Horford and Teague and stuff. They're really good players, but like they're not on Mitchell or Mobley's level, or even Allen or Garland. Really, I mean, prime Horford might be better than Allen. I don't know. That's probably debatable, but
yeah. And even like Paul Millsap, like, yeah, best player on the team, but I mean, Mobley just keeps getting better. So it's like, yeah, maybe it's close right now, but I feel like in a year or two from now, it's going to be pretty obvious,
Yeah. Dude, Mobley, I've never seen him this confident. It's crazy. It's
That's
nice
what I'm saying, yeah. Yeah.
He's bullying people. I mean,
yeah.
So hopefully they bring the same energy in the playoffs, because that's what everyone's saying. Like a lot of Celtics fans are like, "Oh, well, Garland and Mobley, they're gonna sell in the playoffs and stuff." I'm like, dude, you've only seen them play like 2 playoff series, so you can't really judge them off of that. I mean, you got to give them more chances.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, of course, the whole team has that same mindset too, so I think they know what everyone's gonna be hoping for. So. I'm wishing the Cavs good luck, as a Donovan Mitchell fan myself. And I like a lot of the other guys on the team too, like Garland, Mobley, and stuff. But definitely would love to see something like that happen. So, but yes, if you want though, we can move on to the next topic. Now this is kind of something somewhat tied even to the Cavs, but with assuming if you guys get to the second round of the playoffs and stuff like that, seems like there's 3 teams kind of hunting for that 4-5 matchup between the Bucks, Pacers, and Pistons. And I think we know, the Bucks have some experience. Giannis is one of the best players in the league. Dame is one of the most clutch players of all time. But the Pacers and the Pistons, I feel like are still 2 very young teams that we don't really know what their identity is in the playoffs. I know the Pacers were there last year. Seems like they got a little lucky with some injuries. And then the Pistons we just haven't really seen. So between these 2 teams, who would you say is probably like a more respectable playoff threat?
It's
kind of tough.
Yeah, that is a tough one. I would probably lean just a little bit towards the Pacers, just because they have more experience. I mean, they did make the conference finals. I know, like, the Knicks were injured and the Bucks were injured too, but I mean, they played the Celtics. I mean, even most of the games were pretty close, so I would say that's kind of respectable. The Pistons, it would just be like Cade's first playoff series, so I just don't really expect them to be that much of a threat. I think the Pacers pose like a little bit more of a threat to me, but
yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that the thing with the Pistons is Defensively they've been insane like over the past like month and a half, 2 months. I do think offensively,
Yeah,
even though they still have a couple shooters around them, like Malik Beasley's been having a crazy year, like shooting the ball, but I do think the Pacers just have a little bit more offensive threats, especially if like Ben Matherin's hitting his shots. And really, I mean, I know a lot of people are like, seems like they're off the Halliburton hype train right now, but he's actually like second half of the season he's played probably about close to what he did most of last year. So I think if he's hitting his shots, and you got Matherin, you got just like Miles Turner and stuff like that, like they just have like a lot of unique weapons on the team. Like Andrew
yeah,
Nemhard and stuff like that. Like they are. I feel like just too with the experience and stuff like that, like you said, I would lean a little bit more in their direction. But the Pistons, very much like an Orlando team that you guys even saw last year. It's like they could definitely slow down other teams. They also could come in with like a newfound like energy where it's like, oh, we've never been here before. So they're just kind of, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if they're the sixth seed and the Knicks are the third seed, like they could potentially beat the Knicks. Honestly,
I agree with that actually.
like yeah. I mean, Cade's been balling. He might be what, second team All NBA maybe somewhere.
Yeah, I would say at least third team, but probably second. The way he's played lately.
Yeah, and then but yeah, I mean the Pacers are. Tyrese has been playing really well. I see like he's getting so many assists right now. Like his assist to turnover ratio is just insane. Um, so and then yeah, Pascal Siakam, he's a proven champ. He's really good. So I don't know. Both teams are underrated to me.
Yeah,
So and I think they could beat like teams like the Bucks or the Knicks in the series, even if they're fully healthy.
it.
But
I don't
yeah,
know. I do think probably any team except you guys and the Celtics. I also feel like, at least in terms of like looking from the lens of the Cavs, like the Pacers would be the tougher matchup just because I feel like there's no way they're gonna lose to JB Bickerstaff. Like just the way that they've played against them this year, they're just like, yeah, that's not happening.
yeah, just because this is their old coach, like they're gonna go harder against them. But
And
yeah,
even like the subtle, like I don't know, there's like subtle jabs and stuff like that. Like I'm sure you saw the one with like Ty Jerome where he was like he had to think about it for like 20 seconds, and he's like, I think coaching is the biggest
yeah,
thing. Like he just like, but I don't know.
that was funny.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, I do think both these teams. I don't think either of these teams will get swept no matter what. Like no matter who they face, even if they face Boston, even if the Pistons face you guys, I do think there will be one game that they probably get. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll have to see how that happens.
for sure, man.
If you want, though, we can keep it pushing here. Move on to the next topic. Of course, Steph Curry, who a lot of people consider the greatest shooter of all time. He just passed the 4,000 3-pointers made mark. Only one other player, I believe, has passed the 3,000 mark, and that is Harden. So the fact that he's passed 4,000, some people are saying if he keeps playing like until 20 years in his career, he could pass 5,000. So I guess like, what do you make of this milestone, and just I guess like the rate that Steph Curry continues making threes?
I mean, he's like an alien, man.
Yeah.
He's just crazy. I've always been a fan of Steph Curry, so even though I've been a Cavs fan for so long, but I've always just just admired his game. And when I play basketball, like I kind of play like him in a way. Like obviously not a lot like him, but
Mm.
in terms of like shooting threes, and he's just like changed the game so much. So I have the most respect for him, and he's definitely the greatest shooter ever, and arguably the best point guard ever. So
Yeah. I mean, if you shoot anything like him, I might have to get you in one of my IRL. That'd
and
be.
I'm a really good shooter, but like last time I played, I shot horrible, but
Hey,
I don't
everyone
play
has
like
off
super
days.
often anymore. So
Yeah, no, no, I do agree. I feel like with Steph, it's kind of like just expected at this point, which is a little crazy because 4,000 threes is even 3,000 threes is something that not a lot of players will do. I'm even trying to think like maybe a player like Dame gets up there eventually before he's done. And aside from that, it's like who else is probably going to cross the 3,000 threshold unless it's like a really young player that, you know what I mean? Like these other established players like from his same era have not done what he's done. I will say, you know, maybe the only person that would have had a case for it would have been if Harden stayed in Houston, because then he would have just got more shot opportunities. But even then, I mean, just the efficiency level. I mean, he's a good 3-point shooter, but he doesn't shoot it quite as well as Curry. So that's why he's 4,000 and no one else is. So yeah.
Yeah, isn't he a career 40%?
Curry or Harden?
Curry.
Yeah, I think he's like a little over that. I think he's like 41.5 or so. And I'd have to check what Harden is, but I think he's under 40, I'm pretty sure, but he's like 38, I think, 37, 38. So respectable still, but it's like it would take you more attempts, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the only other person I can think of that would maybe be a sleeper for it is like Anthony Simons, just because he came in young. He's been taking like 10 threes a game like every year.
Yeah.
But of course, like the efficiency, like he doesn't really have there. So I don't know. It's gonna be really tough. Someone's gonna have to play for a long time to pass it. Like, do you think this will be passed ever?
I mean, maybe ever. Like, but I don't know if it will be passed by anyone like in the league right now. Like, I can't. I mean, I was thinking maybe Ant Edwards.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's at right now, but like, you know, this year he's been going crazy from three. So if he could somehow maintain this, which I don't think he will, but maybe he could do it. But I don't know. I would have to look at how many threes he has right now and like do the math and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it will be passed for a while, but I think maybe at some point it could be.
Yeah. I think Ant is a weird case. He's maybe the only person I would say that still has like a chance, like that's in the league right now that has a realistic chance to. And it's crazy even saying realistic because it probably won't happen, but to pass the 3-pointers made thing and then like the total points thing between Curry and LeBron. I don't think he will probably get either, but I think just like with the trajectory he's at, with his like age coming in, and if he can continue to like maybe get better at how people expect, like it's possible. I mean, he also would just have to not miss too many games, which he usually doesn't. But that he's probably like the only player that has like a case at both of them, I would say. Like, but realistically, I don't think he'll get either. I think he'll get 3,000 threes. I think he could do that. But the points too. I mean, I don't know if he'll get that. I mean, he'll probably get like 35K. There's also rumors that maybe he'll leave the NBA early and like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he wants to go play football or something, you know?
That would be so funny. Play for the Vikings or
That'd be crazy.
What is Mitchell? I wonder how many threes he has.
He is getting up there too. I know the only thing that hurts him is there are some years where he missed a little more games, like about 15, 20 games. Aside from that, though, and I guess the fact that he came in as kind of an older rookie, like 20, 21 or something, which is kind of similar to Curry, but then at that point, it's like you almost have to match his speed every year. And, you know, that's why I think it's like a player who's 18, 19 comes in, you get a few extra years. Maybe Curry's early years, he had injuries, so you might pass him on those areas, but it's just hard to do.
He's just insane, man. Yeah, he's literally one of my favorite players of all time for sure. Like in my top 3. So
yeah, I do think Donovan though will probably he will also cross the 3,000 mark. I think too. Which
isn't he at like probably like 1,700 or something like that?
Yeah, he might end up like. I don't know. I think people are gonna have different discussions about him too, because I think he's gonna end up like higher on the 3-point list than people think, because he's not really regarded. Like he's regarded as a good shooter, but I don't think people realize like how good of a shooter he actually is.
Yeah, and a lot of his shots are actually really tough too. So
Yeah.
well, this year he's getting better open looks, but like normally when he's the main focal point in the offense, like he would have to take tough threes. So, but he'd still make them at a pretty good clip. So, and I mean, this year he's shooting like 39% from three. So,
Yeah, I think it's his best shooting year so far, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he seems way more efficient this year. But,
yeah, he's been kind of cooking. We'll have to see. But I guess a perfect segue here is, as we get into the honor of the week, and so how this segment works is it's going to be a former player that you're going to have 1 minute to talk about. I'm going to give you the former player. Now you could praise this guy if you want. You could hate on this guy. I don't care what direction you go, really. I will say though, like he's one of the players I did like. I don't think there's too much to hate on him for. Well, maybe one thing, but anyways, you're gonna have like about 1 minute roughly, and then you'll start right when I say the player's name. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. And I said it'd be a perfect like transition because this guy was a shooter himself. So your player, and you can go as soon as I say the name, is Kyle KORVER.
Kyle KORVER. Yeah, I mean, great shooter, phenomenal shooter. I haven't really like watched him like a ton, so I don't really have like a ton to say about him. But I mean, only good things. Like I just know he's a great spot up shooter, catch and shoot. I mean, yeah, I didn't really watch him that much, man. So I don't have like a crazy opinion about him, but I just know was an elite at what he did.
Yeah. Nah, that is fair. I feel like he's one of those weird players too, where it's like he kind of just came in, did his job. You know, he knew he was a shooter, and he was, whether it was the corner, coming off screens. But yeah, I liked him. He was one of my favorite like role players in Chicago to have, just because like it provided some shooting around D Rose. But I know obviously like he came over to you guys in Cleveland like after the championship, and wasn't too bad throughout the season. I know the finals and like the next year is kind of a little iffy, but still like, yeah. And he made an all-star team off his efficiency. I don't know that many players, granted, as we were saying earlier in the show, maybe some of them a little undeserved, which is why I said there's one thing maybe you could knock him for, but he I don't know. I do think that he was shooting at like a crazy efficiency that year.
Yeah, no, he was great. I mean, yeah, I really don't have anything bad to say about him. He just a phenomenal shooter. So
yeah, and he kind of looks like Ashton Kutcher. I just thought I'd put that out. He just always randomly looks like him.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he really does.
But yeah. So if you want though, we can move along here to the mini game to close out the show. So I call this one, everything's kind of had some D Rose theme to an extent. My favorite player of all time, right there it is. And I call this one the Rose Petal mini game. So obviously, like, I feel like a lot of people have heard the thing, like the forget me not type of thing, where it's like, oh, she loves me not, and they're like picking different like rose petals or whatever it may be. It's just gonna be like a kind of like a yes or no type of mini game. There's 10 questions. It's like, I guess, the roses and thorns aspect of it, but it's basically a true or false. So I'm going to give you 10 different questions. You get as many points correct as the number question in the order. So question 1, if you get it right, you get 1 point. Question 2, you'll get 2 points. Question 3, 3 points, and so on. And yeah, we'll see how well you do here. So are you ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
I mean, it pretty much is 50-50. I would say if you can manage to get at least 10, that would be pretty good.
Okay.
So the first one. Now, the first one is, somewhat Cavs themed. They're not all going to be, but the first one is the Cavs franchise record for wins in a season is 66. Is that true or false? At this time. You said true? Oh, wait, you said true, right?
Yeah.
And that is correct. You got it right. There we go. Just like that. You got 1 point right there. Now, obviously, in a couple weeks from now, that might change. But for the time being, 66 is the number. So question number 2. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the amount of games in OKC that he's played without a free throw attempt is 5.
True.
It's false, actually. I think it's actually less than that, which is crazy to think about. I think it was like 3.
Okay, that's not surprising.
I just thought that would be funny to put in there. I mean, obviously, often labeled the free throw merchant, and it did show on that question. So, still got 1 point. The third question though is Jason Tatum's height is 6'8". True or false?
Oh, that's tough because I'm pretty sure he's 6'9", so I'll go with false.
It is true, actually. Dang.
Damn.
That's okay. So he is 6'8", of course. It was kind of tough though, because I feel like, I don't know, they lie about Tatum with everything. I mean, they try to under exaggerate his age every year too. So, like,
I think they also add like an inch to like everyone's height sometimes. Like,
yeah. So probably, like, from the way the NBA documents it, like 6'9". Although on B-Ball Reference it still listed as 6'8". So maybe it's like I don't know, they change it up a little bit. But number 4 though is Victor Wembanyama has played 46 games this season. True or false?
I would say true.
And you are correct. It is true. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was actually cutting it kind of close anyways to meeting the requirement, but now obviously he's not gonna for a defensive player or anything, which I feel like it would either be between him, Mobley, or Jaren Jackson. I think the people were probably more in favor of Wemby at that point, but not gonna happen now.
Yeah.
So
I think Mobley has got it now, but Wemby would have won it for sure if he wasn't injured. But
oh yeah, especially the way Mobley was lighting up Jaren Jackson again, and the fact that he didn't
back-to-back threes.
Yeah, that's just nuts. But okay, so right now you got 5 points. The fifth question. Now this is this is regarding LeBron, although I think I put the wrong answer on here. So let me just double check. It happens sometimes. Okay, yeah. So number 5 is about LeBron. The number of All-Star appearances that he has made is 20.
True.
So you're locking in true?
Yeah.
It is false, actually. It is 21.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. 20 not including this year, but 21 including. Yeah. Because 20. He's played 22 seasons, and aside from his rookie year, every year. So that is tough. When it gets that high a number, sometimes it's easy to lose track how many he's made. So, okay, so you're halfway through right now. You still got 5 points. Now these next 5, like these back half 5, are all retired players. So, well, there's still one that's like a team one, but it's more like an all-time team question. You'll see. So are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So number 6, worth 6 points. Dwayne Wade played 16 seasons in the NBA.
Let's see. It's tough. Of
course, he came in with LeBron, but
yeah, I want to say false.
So you're feeling false here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's true.
It is true. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Wow.
That is tough. Yeah. Because well, if you were thinking false, how many did you think he had played? Probably.
I thought it would be like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Like I thought it would be close, but
See, that makes sense though, because like his 15th year was that playoff year with the when he came back to Miami and they played like Philly, if you remember.
yeah, yeah,
And then I feel like his like last year, like really didn't get like a whole lot of recognition that much until like the final like couple games, you know.
mm,
So I think to a lot of people that 2018 like series against the Sixers feels like his last season, you know.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but okay, so the seventh question, you still get if you get this one is 7 points. Um, so Kevin Garnett in his career has gotten 16 triple doubles.
I'd say true.
And you are correct. It is true.
Ooh,
Yeah.
come on.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little surprised it was that high. Like I feel like it would have been a little lower. I know he's a versatile player as well, but
Yeah, double guy for sure, but not really known for assists. So
yeah, especially like back then. I mean, 16 triple doubles, crazy. I mean, in this era, like they're running through him more. Maybe he has like 50 or 60. I don't know.
oh, for sure.
We got 3 more questions though. Question number
Okay.
8 is the Orlando Magic have 17 playoff appearances in history.
False.
And you are correct. It is false. There you go. I think it's a little less, which makes sense because the Magic they did have some pretty tragic years. So, all
How
right,
long have they been a team for? A while.
they came in. I think it was 1989.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was really late 80s. They started off bad, and then they had a few years with Shaq, a few years with Dwight, and then those couple years with Vucevic, and then just the other year with Paulo.
Yeah.
So pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, so question number 9: Paul Pierce played 3 years of college basketball. True or false?
I want to say false. I feel like he went straight to the league, but I'm not sure though at all.
So
That's just
you're gonna go with false though.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you are correct. It is false. Wow,
Did
you're
he
on
come
a
straight
hot
out of high
streak
school?
here. You're just like the Cavs. What were you saying?
Did he come straight out of high school?
He
Or
actually
did he?
didn't. He went to college, I believe, for 2 years. It was. It was like weird because it wasn't a 1 year. It wasn't 4 years, but it was 2 instead of 3.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah. So it was a little tricky. There's one more question left. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So with it being called the Rose Petal mini game, of course, the last question has to be around my guy D Rose, and I'm gonna ask you that Derrick Rose's first All-Star appearance was in 2010. True or false?
Um. False.
So you're gonna lock in false as your final answer?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2011.
Okay. So it is true, unfortunately. Yeah. He made it like 2011 was the MVP year, and then he made
Oh,
that year, and then the year before, year after as well.
okay. So yeah, I thought like his first All Star game was also the year he won MVP.
Yeah,
So
he was a reserve his first year, so it's
gotcha.
it was probably his like least like obvious All Star appearance because the other 2 years he started in the game too.
Mm-hmm.
So that year he was a reserve, but um, yeah. So even though you didn't get that one, you still got pretty solid ones. You got a lot of the higher point ones correct aside from that one too. It's pretty good though. How do you feel?
I feel good. I mean, the ones I got right, most of them I just guessed, so
Yeah,
I feel good about that.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun game. Man, I wish Derrick Rose never got injured. He was amazing.
Facts. Can you imagine, like, if I always imagine too, because he still was good when he signed with Cleveland, like how things would have went if he
Yeah,
didn't get hurt, like that game against the Bucks when Greg Monroe hurt him, you know.
yeah,
So
he was amazing.
facts. Um, yeah, I think pretty much though you got all the good one. You got the Cavs one right there. I think the only one you're upset that you missed was the LeBron one, like probably.
Yeah, just being one off.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
little tricky though, but that true or false, you know, it's 50-50. What else are you gonna do? But yeah, it's still a pretty good showing, I would say. You know,
yeah, decent,
and
decent.
if it makes you feel any better, you know, I haven't done this mini game with anyone else yet, so technically you're top of the leaderboard.
Hopefully for a while, but we'll see.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna close out the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I don't know if you got anything you want to add before we wrap it up.
No, not really. I mean, hopefully the Cavs win a championship, but we'll see.
Yes, sir. That's the goal. Speaking into existence. I'm hoping for it to happen too, just because I like watching this Cavs team. So
Yeah, I feel like I always see you saying good stuff about them and stuff. So it's nice when fans of other teams start coming around and just enjoy watching them as well because they play a great brand of basketball. So
yes, sir. They're the people's champs, and hopefully soon the NBA champs. But
yes, sir.
yeah, again, appreciate you being on the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.